Yeah, sorry about that. My papers got away from me. But yeah, I already knew how this was going to end before it got started. And it comes down to like I said, trader's a trader. They got to go. Hopefully with Robert Hansen dead, a lot of people can put things back into proper perspective. Because there's it just gets ugly. But anyways, here's line 251. The mate at the end an old enemy had been. Catania did settle the score. One bump on the nose and oops, there she goes. Now who's gonna clean up the floor? Fred liked his liquor, not good for his ticker. His undoing was he told it would be. To dread who was smart, he was an old fart, not farmer material be he. Irked Fred this did, after all, but a kid, for what did he know about me? It's easy to judge and maintain a grudge when going on what one's eyes see. I may not be smart, but I view with my heart. I see things that many would miss. Wise man or fool, but rarely a tool, for all I have but this one wish. For life demands all kinds, with all sorts of minds, the destiny of one for that one to choose. Work hard and you'll see that anything can be, where freedom reigns, one cannot lose. Fred finished his drink, the crowd stopped to think. No query, no pardon, no why. He meant what he said, his heart drove his head, he was truly one likeable guy. Thought Catania who knew how few men were true. They cheated, cavorted, and cried. Besotten with mire, befuddling desire, indeed, how often they lied. Bearing her breast, she rose to the test. We best put these goblins to rest. Her fist in his hand, alone did she stand, ignored not he her throat or her chest. Aye, lass, you'll do, but we are but two. I trust that I meet your approval. If you're courting my praise, you'll heighten that gaze, for I abdicate considering your scruples. Fine, fair enough, your challenge was tough. My hand and my gaze I rescind. Hail and well met, you're sprightly, I'll bet, my nose the incumbent to mend. Thus uttered Fred, upbraiding his head, found to be found unremissive, as she reburdened her trust with nary a fuss, a bluster and coyly premissive. What misgivings had she, but no longer be, her best in his hand did he nestle. Her jab, quick, contrary, indeed did he parry, impacting like mortar to pestle. Feigning a whimper amidst raffish simper, alluding to friends from about. But two we are not, as well you have got, 5 for fell goblins to rout. Their eyes burnt away dewy mists in a haze, the dampness was felt in many a knee. At dawn they embarked with supplies they earmarked for their journey, 2 weeks would it be. Past Triangle Inn where Izzard had been, no doubt out there looking for Jenna, sniffing the breeze for dirty wench knees, magglejupe, rye, lilac, and henna. Saul was aware that goblins were there. He paused as the 5 headed west. He hoped they had weapons and adequate protection, for should they be put to the test. A vague afterthought what armor they brought, 5 fools on their way to the grave. Thought Saul as he loosed the morning refuse, 3 brigands, 1 unsightly knave. What feather and cap, with friends he fell flat, a top spike in his minuscule crossbow. With service a smile, all heaped in a pile, all thusly such trash all must go. Past Y in the road to Green River Ford, or Dead River Ford since the fall. Skirting Drakmar, the rocky sandbar, for toll there must be paid by all. A turn to the left, Black River heading west, south of the northern rim forest, or Zinepherthel, where Orduith dwell, in emerald glades of arboriousness. All morning they walked and listened and talked, giant beetle was all to be found. Be that a warning that after this morning, less easy it be where we're bound. Across the floodplain where 2 rivers drain, they marched nearly all afternoon, in unison, in line, in arrhythmic time, upon feet that grew weary too soon. The eagle was keen and longed to take wing, to Claudia he always returned. They were not to lack, for food he brought back, his pay and his keep did he earn. With night beasts at bay the rabbits would play, chasing about in the brush. A feast not to flatter, approach they would scatter, to stand very still in a hush. Viper was there, and could he catch hare? The rations had yet to be touched. Of wolves he was sired, his coat was admired, just not by those born in a hutch. Yeah, that pretty much introduces the rodent warren. Like I said, the whole concept of the rodent warren's under copyright until 99 years after my death. So you can kind of skirt the whole rabbit hole Mad Hatter's Tea Party thing. And the whole assassination threat, of a Marxist origin that was directed against the British royal family back during the Victorian era. That's something that needs to be said. There's something else I wanted to say here, too. Like I said, well, it goes back to, like, William Donovan and stuff like that, and where, like, the old OSS and, like, the follow-on CIA fit with, like, issues like with international human trafficking and stuff. And a lot of this has to do with, the kind of people who took power after, the Nazi regime collapsed, and, it was kind of a bad thing because there were a lot of ties there. Now, you saw it come into play with the anti-fascists and stuff like that. Basically, you had a latch-ditch effort there to overthrow the government in America and basically facilitate a revolution. But the other thing going on there, it comes down to what happened to war orphans. And like I said, this is where, like, Uncle Willie becomes a character in the book. Like eternal unrest because of some of the things that happened. Which, well, like I said, we're talking some disturbing things. Like what happened to a lot of the war orphans, like that were either forced into prostitution or other things. And the kind of psychos that are, there's people who are psychotic to begin with, but what war does to people, too, is actually even worse. So just saying, this is where the whole CIA trend, in regards to human trafficking and stuff like that comes into play. And, but like I said, it's just something that goes on. I mean, it's, keeping an eye open and an ear open for that kind of stuff. And, that's kind of like a tradition that goes back to the OSS. I mean, it may or may not be unspoken, but it's something that's there. And, well, like I said, William Donovan was a good man. That's about all I can say. But there's a lot of people who have issues like that. But, just saying that's, that's part of the, well, that's where the character Uncle Willie comes from in the story, because when you're part of his extended family, you know what I'm saying? Not his real blood family, but, like I said, if you know what I'm talking about there, when you're part of that family, that's, we all look out for each other, and, well, like I said, I'm going to stop right there. I'll pick it up next month with line 301. It gets better, but like I said, the whole thing is a satire, though, about America's worst spy and traitor, and just where he fit in everything that he compromised. And like I said, I know the person I dedicated this to is not the only person that he compromised, but she was the person that I knew. And it comes down to, just, well, like I said, it comes down to, people like that having their careers wrecked before they even started, and trying to stay ahead of the bad guys. Man, and a whole bunch of stuff that I really can't talk about. But, it's pretty much been the sole focus of my life for most of it, and taking that guy out. Well, it's like I said, we're still cleaning up the mess. That's about all I can say. Yeah.